Saddam Hussein's story starts in Al-Awya, a small village in Iraq. He was born in 1937. His early life was very hard. He was very poor. His father wasn't around, maybe even dead, which made things even tougher for young Saddam. He also had a stepfather who was mean to him. These tough times shaped him. They made him strong and determined to overcome challenges. Life in Al-Awya wasn't easy. Just surviving was a struggle. This constant fight to get by shaped how Saddam saw the world. It made him very ambitious, wanting to improve his life. This desire would guide his path. Saddam's difficult start wasn't just about his personal problems. He also saw the political unrest happening in the Middle East. The area was changing a lot, dealing with the effects of colonialism and the growing idea of Arab nationalism. These changes also affected how Saddam saw things. The seeds of ambition and toughness planted in the difficult environment of Al-Awya would grow into a ruthless chase for power. Saddam's early life, although full of hardship, prepared him for what he thought was needed to be a leader. Now let's talk about Khairallah Talfa, Saddam's uncle on his mother's side. Talfa was important. He was a nationalist and a former soldier. He taught Saddam about what Iraq could be, a strong, united country led by Arabs. Talfa had a big impact on Saddam. He encouraged Saddam's ambition, teaching him about politics and introducing him to Iraqi nationalism. Learning from his uncle, Saddam started to see himself as a future leader, someone who could shape Iraq's future. Talfa taught Saddam more than just nationalism. He taught him to not trust foreign countries, especially Western ones, and he stressed the importance of Arab unity and power. These ideas would become the foundation of Saddam's political beliefs and his strict rule. Saddam and his uncle were more than just a student and teacher. Talfa saw Saddam as a way to achieve his own goals for Iraq. He gave Saddam opportunities, introduced him to important people, and taught him about politics, all things that would be very helpful later on. Saddam's rise to power wasn't quick or easy. He used clever planning, ruthless ambition, and he was willing to get rid of his enemies. Joining the Ba'ath Party, an Arab socialist group, gave him a way to achieve his political goals. In 1968, the Ba'ath Party, with Saddam playing a key role, took control of Iraq. This takeover was a major change for Saddam and Iraq. He slowly gained more power, taking important government jobs and creating a strong security system. Saddam's climb to the top involved both ruthlessness and political skill. He knew he had to control power and remove anyone who might challenge him. His methods, often cruel and harsh, made people afraid and ensured they obeyed. By 1979, Saddam became the president of Iraq. He had reached the top. He had gone from a boy in a small village with a difficult past to the absolute leader of a country. But this was just the beginning of the problems and conflicts to come. Section 4, the big test, the Iran-Iraq War. The Iran-Iraq War from 1980 to 1988 is a very important part of Saddam Hussein's rule. It was a terrible war, caused by regional rivalries and disagreements about political ideas. For Saddam, it was a big test of his leadership, his strategy, and his strength. Saddam started the war because he wanted Iraq to be the most powerful country in the Gulf region. He thought, maybe wrongly, that a quick win would make him stronger and weaken Iran's revolutionary government. But the war dragged on, hurting both countries and killing many people. Fighting a strong Iranian enemy, Saddam had to deal with complicated alliances and problems. Western countries wouldn't sell him weapons. But Saddam found other ways, making deals with countries like India and Yugoslavia to get the supplies he needed. The war also made Saddam be careful in international affairs. He didn't take sides in the Soviet-Afghan war because he didn't want to upset either of the superpowers. At the same time, he attacked Iran's oil facilities, trying to hurt their economy and gain an advantage. Section 5, behind the scenes, the Saddam tapes. After Saddam was captured in 2003, a lot of information about his rule was discovered. Many documents and hours of audio recordings, called the Saddam tapes, gave us a new look at how he led and made decisions. The tapes show a complicated and clever person. We hear Saddam talking about war strategy during the Iran-Iraq war, worrying about not having enough weapons and planning to keep international support. The recordings also show his diplomatic efforts, how he tried to make alliances and his fears about people betraying him. The tapes help us understand Saddam's thinking. He seems very involved in the details of running the country, managing military decisions and carefully reading intelligence reports. We hear his frustration with problems, his harsh treatment of enemies, and his strong belief in his own vision for Iraq. The Saddam tapes give us a special look inside how an authoritarian government works. They show the problems Saddam faced, the decisions he made, and the often brutal realities of his rule. They are a unique historical record, helping us analyze his choices, understand his reasons, and think about the legacy he left behind.